Hey Trans Youth Channel, this is Ty/Bree filling you in for our Wednesday position. This week's topic on Trans Youth is transitioning agenda for the next 10 years, what people who are coming out in any sort of transition need to do, need to consider for a transition over the next 10 years and really, for the period of their life. And, I guess I won't necessarily talk just about transsexual transition, being as you should know, if you haven't watched our videos already, Wednesday is now a day for all the other transgender variants. For example, myself being gender blended. And so I will talk a little more about that area. There are a lot of things that you need to consider. Maybe not as much as a transsexual transition, but first and foremost, if you're not out of the closet yet, you need to think about how it's going to affect your relationships long term, how it's going to affect life around you long term. I've always been, well, actually not always. Now in my life, I'm a little bit of a bombshell, and I tend to just kind of put things out there and deal with all the repercussions as they come. And I don't really advise that for anybody, really. I don't even advise it for myself. I'm just I just do it. You need to kind of think about how it's going to affect all the situations around you in life. And I'm not saying that you need to sit around and think about whether or not you need to conform to what people expect of you. I'm not a conformist. I don't like taking orders. I don't like doing what I'm told. And so I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you need to think about, you need to make sure that you know what you're doing, that you know what you want, and that you understand the consequences. So, for somebody who might not be transitioning or wanting to transition male to female or female to male, somebody who is more in the lines of wanting to come out as non-conforming to gender identity as a whole, somebody who wants to come out as, taking off the restraints of gender generally. And for those people, you still need to consider the same base. Whether you're going to school, how it's going to affect your work, how it's going to affect your family. You need to consider how people are going to react in all the situations that you are involved with. Is your family generally open? Is this something you're going to be able to deal with at work? Because when you come out at work, even if they accept you, you have to be committed, because it's going to create a lot of problems if you are unstable at work, and it can get you fired. And that's obviously not something you want to experience. And then you have to, if you make the steps, if you do go forward, if you say, alright, I understand the repercussions, I'm ready for them, I'm willing to go through with what I've decided, and you want to move forward with your decision to come out, start transition, whatever, you need to know your options. A lot of people aren't going to have much support. They're not going to have a lot of people helping them and directing them in what they need to do, where they need to go, and then your efforts are in vain and you don't get anywhere, or you get lost. And we really don't want that. So you need to make sure that you have your options available, or you need to at least know what the next steps need to be. just to help make sure that you know what you're doing, it's best to talk to a therapist. And because they're going to ask you all the questions that really matter. They're going to ask you, why do you feel this way, and what do you think it's going to make better in your life? That's what my counselor asked me. And these are questions you can't just dismiss. These are questions that you really do need to think about. If you are transsexual, if you're going through a transsexual transition, I did go through transition for a year. I'm kind of holding off on it now as I have come out as gender blended. But if you are coming out as transsexual, you know, you're going to need to know how to get access to hormones. You're going to need somebody to help regulate your hormones. You're going to need somewhere to be sure that all your hormone levels are in balance, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of things you need to consider before you even start making moves towards transition. And for gender variance, it's really more of a social aspect. You know, there are areas where it's not going to be as detrimental, and there are areas where it will be detrimental, even if it's in different ways. I know for a fact that coming out as gender blended, can lead people to think that you're just confused, and you need to take this into consideration, you know, when you come out. You know, obviously, most people, when they acknowledge themselves as gender variants, gender blended, multi-gendered, whatever, particularly those who come out androgynously. It's not so much an issue fitting in social-wise, but it's still going to create issues every once in a while. Whether you have to say on an application or in an interview, where you're required to give a gender, you know, all these different things. It's kind of hard to explain to me because I haven't really been in this situation very long, but over a period of 10 years, and you have to also realize that coming out in any sort of gender variant way, whether it's transsexual, gender blended, multigender, whatever, it goes far beyond 10 years. It's pretty much a whole life thing. No matter how comfortable or set you are in your way of life, you're still going to have to deal with it, I guess, your whole life. And so as an agenda, the only thing I can really say about it right now at this point is that you need to know what your steps are. You need to know what your options are. And, you know, that's what I advise, at least. As I said at the beginning of the video, I am much more of a bombshell kind of person. I've always been, you know, with my transition, I made the choice, and it was kind of like, I just came out. I didn't beat around the bush with it. It just happened, and it was kind of a punch in everybody's face. And, you know, now I came out as gender blended, and, you know, it's throwing people around a lot. And so you kind of just need to step back and ask yourself all the important questions. You know, why do you want to make this transition? Why do you want to come out as whatever? What do you expect it to help you with in your life? What do you expect it to put at peace for you? And you also need to look long term. I've said in one of my other videos, well, it might have been on my personal channel, but, you know, I said I'm done looking so far into the future. But you kind of have to, at the same time. That sounds really weird, I know, but at least when you're thinking about transition or coming out into a transition for the first time, you do need to look, down the road. Is this something that you want to do now, but you don't really think is going to be something you want long term? Or is this something that you can see that far down the road when you're 50 and 60? You just need to have all these considerations in mind. You need to find your support system. You need to find the people who will support you. You need to build those people around you, because it's not an easy road. Even for transition as, well, I don't want to say minor or less significant, because I don't want to like demean any other sort of transition, because transsexual transitioning is very extreme, whereas being gender blended may not be viewed as extreme. But I don't want to demean or belittle any transition. It's a big deal for everybody, and so you need to find your support system, and you need to build that around you, because it's not easy, especially for the first few years. It is not an easy road. It's not a smooth road. It is very rocky, very bumpy, and there will probably always be rough patches like that, and it's just something that we all need to consider. So this was Ty/Bree filling you in for our Wednesday position on Trans Youth Channel, the day for the revolving gender variant week day. So yeah. Please like our video and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have any questions, please submit them to transyouthchannel@gmail.com. If you would like to be part of our Wednesday revolving day of the week, if you are a gender variant person, please also submit your inquiry, your interest to transyouthchannel@gmail.com. You may also leave a comment and I can get to you, but please send it to the email if you can. Otherwise, it was awesome making a video for you, and I will talk to you all next week, probably, because we don't really have any other gender variant people to fill in Wednesday with. So please start sending in your applications so we can get you into our channel and get you a part of blogging. So, bye!